My teacher ripped my prosthetic leg off during state testing because she thought I was using it to cheat. I've been wearing a prosthetic leg since I was 6 after a boating accident took my left leg below the knee. By sophomore year, I knew the drill of registering with the school's accommodations office and submitting my medical records. Almost every teacher had been understanding, but Mrs. Brennan, our English teacher and state testing coordinator, had been suspicious of me from day one. She made pointed comments about how some students would do anything for extra time on assignments. She'd watch me during class like a hawk, particularly when I'd shift my prosthetic to a more comfortable position. She pulled me aside multiple times to ask invasive questions, implying that I seemed too mobile for someone with a prosthetic. I brought documentation from my prosthetist and orthopedic surgeon, complete with x-rays and photos. She looked through everything with this skeptical expression before handing it back and saying that medical professionals could be fooled just like anyone else. When I asked what more I could provide, she said she'd figure out the truth eventually. The breaking point came during our mandatory state standardized testing. These exams were administered under strict protocols, and our session had a district observer named Mr. Valdez present to ensure everything followed regulations. Cell phones were banned, talking was forbidden, and any irregularities would result in test invalidation. I was 40 minutes into the reading section when Mrs. Brennan appeared at my desk. She'd been circling the room but kept stopping near me, staring at my prosthetic leg. She crouched beside my desk and whispered that she'd been watching me adjust my leg all morning. "I think you're hiding something in there," she said quietly. "I've seen students smuggle phones in the strangest places." I whispered back that it was a medical prosthetic and that I needed to focus on the test. She stood up and announced loudly that she was pausing my test time due to suspected cheating. The entire room looked up. Mr. Valdez walked over immediately, asking what was happening. Mrs. Brennan explained that she had reasonable suspicion I was using my prosthetic to hide prohibited materials. I felt my face burning as she told everyone she'd been monitoring my suspicious behavior all year. "Show everyone there's nothing in there," she demanded. "Just take it off and prove you're not cheating." I tried to explain that my prosthetic couldn't be removed without proper privacy and time. Mr. Valdez was asking her to step outside to discuss this, but she ignored him. She said if I had nothing to hide, I should have no problem removing it right there. Before anyone could stop her, she grabbed my prosthetic leg and yanked it hard to the side, trying to twist it off like a bottle cap. The force knocked me out of my chair. I screamed as the socket rim tore into my skin. I hit the floor and tried to crawl away, but she followed me down, still pulling at my leg with both hands, trying to wrench it off while I begged her to stop. The testing room erupted. Students were shouting. Trevor jumped up to help me, physically pushing Mrs. Brennan away. Mr. Valdez was yelling at her to stop while pulling out his phone. The other proctor, Ms. Flores, dropped to help me while screaming at Mrs. Brennan to get back. Mrs. Brennan finally let go, breathing hard and red-faced. She kept insisting she was following proper security protocols and that my reaction proved I was hiding something. She actually told Mr. Valdez that I wouldn't be so defensive if I had nothing to hide. Trevor had recorded the entire assault on his Apple Watch, which he'd been allowed to keep for medical alerts. You could clearly hear me screaming in pain, begging her to stop, and her continuing to pull while Mr. Valdez ordered her to release me. Mr. Valdez immediately called 911 and the superintendent. Campus security removed Mrs. Brennan from the room while she argued that she was protecting test integrity. The superintendent arrived within 30 minutes. Trevor showed him the video, and his expression shifted from confusion to absolute rage. Mrs. Brennan was arrested that afternoon and charged with assault and child endangerment. The district terminated her employment immediately and permanently suspended her teaching license. She was convicted on all charges and sentenced to 6 months in jail. The civil lawsuit covered my medical expenses and damages.